More reaction to the end of cash bail in Illinois, the first state to end money bond statewide. Of course, the way we got here was they passed a measure, pretty sweeping bill back in early 2021 when they reformed things on police and also the criminal justice system, allowing for the end of cash bail to be implemented January 1st of 2023. While before that, multiple iterations, changing and closing loopholes in the law over concerns of what was a detainable offense and what was not a detainable offense. Bottom line is, advocates say that people are innocent until proven guilty. And when they're arrested, alleged of a crime, they shouldn't have to languish behind bars because they can't afford to bail themselves out as those with money are able to do. So they went ahead and got rid of money bond and said that lower level nonviolent crimes, people are able to get out on a first offense and they just got to show up to court and go through the legal process. Others with more serious violent crimes, if it's proven that they are a threat to the public, they can be held without bond pending trial. So obviously a new era here in Illinois with the start of the end of money bond yesterday. But on Friday, if you tuned in, you heard some of the conversation that I had with Springfield Mayor Misty Buscher, who shared her concerns as Springfield police will have to be dealing with, arresting individuals for low-level crimes and taking them to the Sangamon County lockup and have them processed only to be back out on the streets, where the concern is they could be rearrested for another crime. Here's Springfield Mayor Misty Buscher sounding off on some of her concerns.
My fear is, and my gut tells me crime's going to go up, and that's not a good thing for Springfield. As the mayor, I want our citizens and our visitors to feel safe, and so crime does not equal safety. Because of that, I did hold a meeting, as I told you earlier, with the Sheriff's Department, the State's Attorney's Office, the jail, my police department, and my legal department, so we could all be on the same page and talk about the Safety Act, because it is a big, big change. I want our residents, to remember to keep their doors locked in their homes and their cars locked. I get police reports all the time. I see them, and the number of times I see cars stolen or things stolen from a car, and it's because the car was unlocked and the keys are in it. So I would just express to our residents, please stop doing that. Please keep your personal belongings out of the view in the car windows, because they might get smashed if they see a computer bag or a laptop bag, a purse. One of the reports I read, someone had a diaper bag and they smashed it because they probably didn't know it was just a diaper bag, right? So just make sure those things aren't in public view. Lock the doors, lock the windows, lock your house.
So again, that's Springfield Mayor Misty Buscher sounding off on her concerns over the Safety Act, saying in her gut she feels that crime rates will increase. While Springfield Alderman Roy Williams Jr. was with those advocating for the end of money bond during a news conference yesterday, and he provided reaction to the mayor's thoughts on no cash bail ending, and I guess the beginning of no cash bail with the end of money bond starting yesterday.
That's the ultimate fear mongering. We already, before pretrial, should be locking our doors to our cars and not putting things out in public for others to see. And people have already been breaking in cars. So I don't think this new law will increase anything like that. I just think it's fear-mongering.
And you had Benjamin Riddell with the ACLU of Illinois also wanting to sound off on this.
I just wanted to get in to add one point to what the alderman had to say and to the mayor of Springfield's comments about crime increasing. The quote that I saw said her gut told her that. Thankfully, we don't have to rely on our gut because we have research. We have other jurisdictions that have implemented, phasing out money bond, and in every one of those jurisdictions, there hasn't been an increase in crime. So we don't have to rely on our guts. We can see what's happened in other places. We can see what the research shows. And we know that we're doing the right thing and that this law will improve not only fairness and justice, but safety, ultimately.
So we'll hear a little bit more of the back and forth of the proponents reacting to those who have concerns over the end of cash bond here in the state of Illinois coming up. Stay tuned for that. But, hey, people are calling in, so let's go ahead and get to your phone calls at 217-629-7970. Good morning.
Good morning, Bishop.
Hey.
Did you say we're the only state that has this?
Statewide. There are other jurisdictions across the country that may have something like this, like in Washington, D.C. I think Manhattan has something similar, but nothing statewide.
So one city has it. So how is that guy that was just talking, how's he going off of past records if not a whole entire state has had this done yet? How is he predicting? If the mayor can't predict off of her gut, how can he predict off of no information? Because there's not another state that has the whole entire state done like this. And since when do we give criminals all this free, fair stuff? You're a criminal. You did something wrong.
Well, listen, I mean, you have a presumption of innocence until guilt is proven in a court of law. That's where they're coming from on this. You can be arrested and suspected of a crime, but you are innocent until proven guilty.
And get out. You can kidnap somebody and get out on bail.
And there's a whole host of different crimes that are being highlighted here with concerns people have. Appreciate the call. Let's get to another one, 217-629-7970. Good morning.
Yeah, hey, it's awfully funny to me when a Democrat passes a law or tries to do something. You know, if we have concerns, it's fear-mongering, which I've heard that a lot about this. Yet when they try to take AR-15s and this and that, you know, it's a constitutionally protected right. We have a concern. I don't.
Your phone's breaking up just a little bit. I think what I'm hearing is that they'll say it's fear mongering if you raise concerns about the end of cash bail possibly leading to increased crime rates, but it's not fear mongering when they say every gun needs to go away because criminals use guns in violent crime.
Well, and 70% of the crimes in Chicago are committed by weapons that are not registered. And then that's the thing, too. They say they have data for this. Well, there's data the other way, too. And it's a constitutionally protected right. I don't get it.
Appreciate the call. Some people seeing some hypocrisy in how we go about debating these issues of public safety. Coming back, we'll get to more of your phone calls, but we'll also hear the concern that Sheriff Jack Campbell had here locally and the reaction of those who supports the end of cash bail, which was yesterday, the beginning of the end of money bond in Illinois. So stay tuned. Much more coming up, including your phone calls at 217-629-7970. You can also email me, bishoponair@gmail.com. Or you can find me on social media. Just search Bishop on Air. Phone lines are open for you to sound off on the end of money bond. 217-629-7970 is the phone number. In the meantime, let's hear more of the local reaction. Conversation I had with Jack Campbell, Sheriff of Sangamon County, on Friday in anticipation of yesterday's start of the end of cash bond. He raised some concerns he has, but we'll hear also from the proponents of the end of cash bond, including the ACLU and State Representative Carol Ammons. But here is what Sheriff Jack Campbell had to say on Friday about his concerns.
Well, we're working out now that summons has to be served initially, and we're working out now. We believe we're going to be able to send those out by mail, and not even certified mail, just by mail initially. We think it also is going to lead to more warrants down the road when people continue not to appear in court.
So the concern, again, is that you're going to have more warrants having to be issued when people do not show up to court after being released on low-level offenses because of no cash bond. ACLU of Illinois, Ben Riddell.
No reputable research that shows that requiring people to pay money bond is actually an effective way of getting people to come back to court. People come back to court because of the incentives that exist that, you know, they can have a warrant for their arrest. They can be brought to jail if they don't come to court. And what other jurisdictions that have lessened the use of money bond have demonstrated is that sending somebody a court reminder or via text or a phone call is a much more effective way of getting people to come back to court than charging money bond, which has not been shown to increase court appearance. So all the research as well as the experience of states that have begun to phase out money bond suggests that rates of court appearance won't go down as a result of this law. So we don't think that the fear is well-founded that jail populations would increase because of an increase of people failing to appear in court.
Well, there are others that raised concerns about the possibility that prosecutors will just end up having to dismiss cases en masse after seeing a possible backlog of failure to appear cases. So, State Representative Carol Lammons, Democrat from Urbana, sounding off.
Well, we shouldn't leave things in our vehicle in plain sight anyway, no matter where you live. But the reality is far less exciting. Washington, D.C. has had a pretrial no cash system for almost 30 years, and they're not the only one. So this whole concept about the sky is going to fall because somebody got out of jail, a person who is a repeat offender, they're going to end up where we have that second phase called the penitentiary. They're going to end up there eventually. The reality is that every single person in the United States is allegedly innocent until they're proven guilty. And we should not use things like cash to secure their freedom. That's a liberty question. And the second part of this that we need to make sure we remember is that the court systems were never designed to be funded by the people twice. Because, see, we already pay taxes. And we fund our criminal justice system in our county already. But this is a backdoor tax for poor people largely because rich people can get out and it doesn't faze them as much. So we want to right-size a system that has been going in the wrong direction for a very long time. And the judges know this. They know the law, and they know that they are supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, but we are body attaching them with cash in this old system. As of today, we stop that, and we say, hey, prove why this person should not and cannot be released safely to their community pending their hearing. And let me just say, if any one of us has ever been in a court, whether it's a traffic ticket or any other thing, you want the best possible opportunity to present your case. That's all that you're asking for. And you want to get the presumption of innocence, not the appearance of guilt. And when you don't have cash to get out and you're sitting on a monitor watching the judge and the people in the courtroom from jail, it's very hard to defend yourself in that process. And everyone knows this. But now we have a system that relies more on risk as opposed to cash.
So obviously a lot of back and forth on all of this, and with the implementation of the end of cash bail yesterday, we'll see how this plays out. One thing that I'm going to try to do this week and into next week is reach out to some of the more populated counties across Illinois and find out how many people were released pending trial and what crimes they were released for. So we'll obviously try to break those numbers down, but it's the beginning of the end. Yesterday, marking that start of the end of cash bond. Let's take a call here at 217-629-7970. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Hey, Greg, quick question. Was that last person an actual elected official?
State Representative Carol Lammons, Democrat from Urbana.
Wow, people believe that stuff. That's off the rockers. Okay.
Well, what in particular are you highlighting questionable belief?
Well, basically her entire philosophy, I guess. I don't know if maybe I'm sure I'll be called racist. But I think that whole philosophy she just had was just wrong.
And as far as saying that, people have a hard time defending themselves when they're in a video monitor talking to a judge, or, another argument is that people who are arrested for certain crimes, if they can't make bail, then, they could lose their job and they could, lose out on, seeing their families while they're awaiting trial. You're saying that...
You said eventually that person will end up in the penitentiary. Well, eventually means that person's out on the street. Did anyone not catch that?
Well, she's talking about those who are repeat offenders. Because keep in mind, first-time, low-level, nonviolent crimes, people can get out pre-trial, so they won't have any cash bond. They'll have conditions that they got to return to court for their hearing, but if they don't return to court, then they could be picked up on a warrant and have to stay behind bars at a county jail. Or if they get picked up on another offense, say they broke into they're allegedly breaking into cars. If that's a second offense, then they could be held pending trial.
So, again, right now we're saying let's just let them go. And then we'll wait for that second offense. Eventually, we'll get them. No, that's not how society works.
That's how it is now in Illinois, starting yesterday. Appreciate the call, 217-629-7970. That's the number. You can also email me, bishoponair@gmail.com, or you can find me on social media. Just search Bishop on Air on X, formerly known as Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Just, again, search Bishop on Air.